It's on what you're doing over there.
Okay.
We're live now.
All right.
Sorry. I meant to warn you first, but
That's okay.
okay. So let me, and you'll have to take it the matter of the picture with Be Live because they did something. They wouldn't let me change it. The picture with the chalice and the cut off head.
Oh.
I'm messing with you. Okay, let's see.
My head.
I know it. You know they. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm grateful. Grateful. Okay, let me go in here and check and see if everything's okay. We got 4 people. Looks like.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Okay, we're gonna have a day today. 4 shows today, and this is a very special show because Susie has been on here before. Let's see here. Let me make sure this sounds good.
That's
absolutely. Yeah, we're good. Move the pic down so you can see my face in the golden chalice. Yeah. Hello, Michael.
My torso.
I know. Hello, Michael Kilmer, Jody Lee, Jania Gazda, Mary Cooper, Kathy Waldowski, Delia Flores, Marcy Durost, Mariella Konsarka, Bobby O'Rourke, Linda Winger, Kelly B. Sparklin, and Denise Chadwick. 23 people in the house and counting. Good morning. Good morning, Iona Van Nierop. Welcome back to Soul Speaks 5D. Susie from Sedona, Beiler. What Beiler? Oh God, I'm just gonna. I can't. It's too early.
Todd, 50% of people at least pronounce it incorrectly, so don't beat yourself up. It's very common.
I'm not. 90% of people. 90% of people mispronounce Soulogy. They all say Soulogy. I think it's funny. Well, you know, when Archangel Michael gave me the name, I kept saying it's Soulogy, and he kept saying, "No, it's not. Soulogy." And I'm like, "What?" And then I looked at it, and it's kind of an optical illusion because so many ologies out there, you know. But anyway, so I get it. Don't worry about it. Let me introduce Susie Beiler. She's been on here before. When I was a temporary resident of Sedona, and I came to town, so she decided to leave. And when I left Sedona, she came back. No kidding. She's been there a while. Susie Beiler is a certified holistic health practitioner with Spectrum Health Consulting, LLC. Susie's a channel for the divine. She assists her clients to discover and live their soul mission so that they can enjoy a deeply fulfilling life. She quickly assesses her clients' core issues and offers practical steps for transformation. Susie facilitates the release of emotional pain and teaches self-healing so that her clients can create their lives from a place of true freedom. She's a master of the healing arts, utilizing the modalities that best fit her clients' need, such as deep sound healing, holistic nutrition, spiritual guidance, and lifestyle coaching and energy healing. After healing herself from chronic fatigue syndrome, adrenal burnout, she reprogrammed, rewired herself to live her own soul mission as a channel for the divine. She's the founder and lead facilitator in the Creation Temple, an online venue for supporting light workers in their ascension process. She lives in Sedona, Arizona, enjoys nature, authenticity, and high vibrational food. And she plays the digger dupe. What is that called? Is that Australian?
Didgeridoo. You can just call it Didge for short.
The Didge. She plays the didgeridoo, okay, which is quite amazing, by the way. So I just have to ask you to revisit that story real quick. How in the hell did you start playing the Didge? And does everybody know what that is? That's that really long. You describe it.
Yeah, it's an Aboriginal instrument. I'll just grab one of them here that I have close to me. It's an Aboriginal instrument, and you do blow raspberries through this hole, and it creates this really awesome sound.
What do you mean you blow raspberries?
You go like this.
Okay, I can do that. I can finally play an instrument now. I'm gonna have to get one. So, and how did you pick that up? Because that was in your. Yeah.
my soul had to be with it. I really loved the deep primal sound, the ancient wisdom that I could feel with the instrument, and so I had to learn how to play it. And so this was the first one actually that I ever bought. It was $20 at this little store in Pennsylvania, and I just started playing it. I just started practicing and trying to figure out how to play it. And one day I was playing it and I started doing the circular breathing, and I was like, oh, I think I just did it. And then I went up into my head and I was like, how did I do that? And then I couldn't do it again. But I just kept practicing, and eventually I got it. And then I found a teacher who gave me some tips, and then it just clicked, and now I can do the circular breathing like it's second nature. But you do have to rewire your brain to do the circular breathing, because it's a very different way of breathing.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be hard for you, and really, that's your whole story, right? You reprogrammed yourself from that adrenal breakdown or burnout.
Yeah.
And so that's that's another example.
Yeah.
Teaching yourself how to circular breathe or whatever you call it. But
it's what I reprogram myself all the time.
That's right. Yeah, and I enjoyed talking to you last time because you're very down to earth. Mm-hmm. I asked you, do you still get hit by these waves? And you were very adamant about the human part of you and respecting and honoring that. How's it been going since the first of the year, the solstice? Everyone I've talked to on the show, it's been like a super highway, like a cosmic super transformation highway. What's your last few weeks been like?
Well, for me, January was very interesting. My body asked me to fast, and my body's never asked me to do that. I fasted once in my life, but it was for a very different reason. This time my body, like, very clearly was like, okay, time to fast. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I listened. I did it for 3 days. I did a juice fast that turned into a water fast. And then my body just kept releasing, which is great. But when you release for too long without the balance of rebuilding, when you detox without the balance of rebuilding, it can be very draining. And so I ended up kind of drained and depleted. Now I'm back together, but January, I was tired a lot of January because of all of that detoxing and cleansing. It was pretty intense.
So when you are releasing, are you talking about strictly physical, biological? You're talking about energetic too.
Energetic.
So when you're releasing, okay. So when you're releasing, you need to fill it back up, or fill that space. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So there's only so much rebuilding you can do while you're releasing on a physiological, biological level. Mm-hmm. And so just, for anyone who's fasted or anyone who's gone through cleanses or detoxes, that after you do that, then there's a period of rebuilding, building up the body, replenishing the systems, replenishing the stores of vitamins and minerals and all of that. So if you keep cleansing without rebuilding, you eventually deplete yourself. And so that's kind of what happened. Because for me, everything's energetic, everything's physical, everything's emotional. It's a wholeness. It's a oneness for me. There's not one without the other. So if I'm energetically releasing, I'm also physically releasing at the same time. But for me, the energy is first, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Which is the basis of how you reprogrammed your body and life, right? In your story, in your life story, with your turnaround of your condition of the adrenal burnout, chronic fatigue.
I've never thought about my awakening in that perspective. I'd have to go back and actually kind of analyze it a little bit and say, is that how it happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking about it yesterday, actually. I was thinking about, after doing some shows, I think we did 3 or 4 shows yesterday, and hearing people's stories, I started to realize that many of the stories I've heard on the show have been a personal transformation, like after traumatic events or whatever. the people or the person wasn't necessarily wide awake at the time, but they were heading a certain direction that was creating a transformational shift in their selves. And I noticed that. And I started thinking that even about myself. I thought, well, I was doing this, but I didn't know what I was doing, kind of thing.
Right.
So I don't know. I was, in a sense, reprogramming, stripping, releasing, and reprogramming, and not even know what the hell I was doing.
Well, anytime you're releasing, anytime you're cleansing, you have that opportunity to reprogram. Because if you're releasing, think about it like a cup, right? Real simple analogy. You're pouring water out of the cup, then you refill it. You pour water out of the cup, then you refill it. So if you're releasing, you then have that empty vessel, your body, your cells, that you can then reprogram to fill with whatever you choose.
And you've been doing this quite some time, right?
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah,
how long?
14.
10? 14. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how long you been in Sedona?
5.
That's what I thought.
I just celebrated the 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations. I was going to ask you, is the speed of releasing and rebuilding transformation of the DNA, cellular memory, that type of stuff, is the speed of that quicker now?
Yeah.
As a, speaking as a practitioner,
Yes.
with your experience?
Yes. Not just for me, but I notice it for clients as well. And I believe that's because everything's speeding up. I believe that's because the pioneers, those who have gone ahead, have created a lot of templates for us now to do it faster. For me personally, it's sped up not just because of the energies, but because I've developed that muscle, that ability to let go of things very quickly and to reprogram, refill myself with my essence and my energy, what I actually want in my body.
And I know you say that everything runs together, the energy body, physical body, I guess mental, emotional, everything. How effective, in your opinion, is the verbalization, the talking to the universe, talking to yourself, programming yourself in that direct way with the energy of the voice, throat chakra, whatever? Is that becoming more prominent? Is that becoming more magical, more useful?
I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, Todd. You mean like just speaking something into existence?
I would say beyond the typical old school affirmations and more of a declaration. New programming through through the energetic declaration to ourselves, to the universe. Is this? I guess what I'm trying to say, is this a new medicine, a new wave of the future? Are we going to be doing the same things as we've done before? Are we transcending that in terms of your experience as a practitioner? Are we moving to a different method, modalities, and so on of healing?
Well, maybe. I'd like to give my perspective on that first question. I believe that our declarations, our verbal commands are becoming more powerful because we are more integrated. And so there's more power behind what we say. So if you say something, this is what everyone wants. I want to create a healing. So you say that, and there's no energy behind that. There's no integration within your being behind your words.
Yeah.
If you say, nothing's going to happen with it. But if you say that and you take the action that goes, the inner work that goes with it, and you prepare your skill set and develop your skills to be able to be the person who creates a healing center, that's a whole different level. There's more power behind that. As more people are becoming more integrated, we're integrating more of our light, more of our shadow. And so there's more power behind the words that we're saying. There may be more going on than that, but that's my perspective of what's possibly happening with that.
And do you see? I'm just curious. I'm having a blast. I would just have this conversation with you. We were alone. Do you see in your practice, 14 years? I know you connect with certain essences like many healers do, I guess, either openly or in private or however you connect to the universe. Do you see a greater presence of what we might call assistance from galactics, or more palpable evidence in your experience that we're being assisted at a higher level?
I don't know that I personally see that, but I do believe that's true. And the reason I say that is because I'm tuning into source. I'm not necessarily tuning into all the galactic frequencies. Mm-hmm. People call me galactic for some reason, but but that's not my focus, actually. So yes, I do believe they are here to help us. There are benevolent ones that are making themselves available to help us. I absolutely believe that. I'm not necessarily tuning into that. Sometimes I do, but that's not my first focus. My primary focus is direct connection with source.
Yeah. And I can appreciate that. It's just that you hear of the Arcturian healing chambers or other starship healing chambers, and I'm just curious, as because I'm not a practitioner, as to whether, and even on an individual level, are people is there a more frequent, more present, or greater presence of galactic star family in personal messages, in healing, in teaching, sacred wisdom or code or whatever you want to call it? And I'm just curious.
I feel that that's a yes. Yeah. Again, that's not my focus in my work. So
yeah. And you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. From that perspective, I can't say, but overall, in general, I feel it's a yes.
Yeah. And your work is developed over 14 years. You haven't stuck with the same thing the whole time. You've evolved into, like you said, whatever fits your client's needs. So you have a toolbox, right? Basically.
Yeah.
And in general, what you're doing is what's becoming more and more out there, as in a good way, as far as awareness goes. And that's what we call energy work, right?
It's energy, it's DNA activation, it's teaching people how to be with their own essence and energy. So in that sense, it's energy work. Most of my work is online. It's not even in person. So there's not hands-on. It's got spiritual guidance and coaching and teaching people how to master and manage their energy.
Is it getting easier as time's going on? Are people catching up quicker?
Is it getting easier?
I mean, I've had a lot of practitioners come on the last few weeks telling me, God, there's a lot of people knocking on my door that are just waking up. Stories of a 80-year-old lady walking the door and saying, I had a Kundalini experience. What the hell's going on?
I love that.
All right. That was Sean overnight. Yeah.
It's one of those yes/no answers, Todd. On one hand, it's not easier because there's always more. There's always more to learn. There's always more to master. There's always deeper to go into and more expanded to go out, So there's always more. So it's not, in that sense, it's not easier. In the sense that we continue to develop our mastery, we continue to develop our muscles of trust, our muscles of understanding what's happening, we continue to develop our discernment. That gets easier from that perspective because our muscles are stronger to be able to do different things and to be able to be more efficient in what we're doing. So it's a yes and no.
I got you. And you now you do a lot of stuff. I know when I went to Sedona, you were in and out. We were trying to connect and you were in and out. You had stuff going on everywhere. You're very popular, I guess.
Well,
You're special with it. But you do at least what I know is at least an annual kind of retreat thing. Because I know maybe you do it twice a year. I don't know. You can fill us in, but I remember hearing about it last year, and then you've got one coming up in April, right?
Yeah. one coming up in April. This one's called Codes of Creation. And it's all about understanding the creation process. It's more than the law of attraction. It's different than the law of attraction. I've never really studied that. So this is kind of my own downloads that were given to me. I've been doing a series of Facebook Lives over the past couple of weeks. And before that, I was doing it in the fall and the summer, sharing codes of creation. We're up to number 18 now. So far we have 18 codes of creation that tell you how to approach the creation process, all the different pieces that go into when you are creating something, all the different factors to consider, all the different places in your life and in your own being where you have to look to say, oh, am I doing that? Or did I not know about that? Or did I forget about that piece? So it's bringing into your awareness all of the different facets and ways that you can create. And when you put them all together, now I haven't gotten to the end of my series yet, so I haven't really said this, but I think it's probably obvious. When you put all the codes of creation together, you have this whole picture about how to approach the creation process. And then you can really look at your life and examine and say, am I utilizing all of these codes? And so that's what we're going to do at the retreat. We're going to look at all of the codes of creation and say, do some self-reflection. Say, am I using all of these in my life? Because if you're serious about being in your soul mission, if you're serious about creating something wonderful for the planet, then you have to look at every little area and every little facet of your life. And I can say that from a place of integrity because that's what I do every day, all the time. I'm constantly looking at myself. Where do I need to grow? Where is my ego still having too much of a say? Where is my soul not fully expressed? What is this trigger about? Constantly doing my inner work. And that's what the retreat is going to be, in this sacred, safe space that I create here for you, is a self-reflective place where you can take an honest look at yourself and say, wow, I really need to step it up here, or yeah, I'm doing pretty good over there. So you can get the well-rounded picture of your life and how the creation process is working for you or not.
Excellent. And how? And this is what, for 2-3 days, for a week?
Yeah, this is for
retreat.
3 days. So I start in the evening. We do an opening ceremony. We open the portal for the retreat, and then we have 2 full days. And then we have a half day on the last day.
And you do this in Sedona?
Yes, this is in Sedona. I actually do this in my home.
Oh, in your home?
Yeah.
Okay.
My partner and I have created a very high vibrational space here. It's a very special spot. People who have been here before can tell you, when they walk into the home, they're like, oh, it feels so good in here. So as a retreat participant, you come from wherever you're coming from in your life, and you walk into this portal space, and you just you get to let your guard down. You get to just relax into the energies. You get to, be boosted by the high frequency, not just of my home, but of Sedona. I mean, we live on a crystal where everything's amplified here.
I can attest to that. I can attest to that. And interdimensional shaman, interdimensional dog man greeted me and greeted me goodbye too. Yeah, and a lot of other things happened. But yeah, it's interesting about Sedona because it's not hard to pick up on the energy, whatever it is, wherever you go. It's what's also amazing about it is how you can go one place and it's one way, and go to another place and it's totally different. Right? It's like a what is that in the old circus, the House of Mirrors, where they got all the funny mirrors, or the fun house.
Well, everything's amplified here, the light and the shadow. So that's why I'm very intentional about the space I create for retreat people, for clients, etc.
Yeah. No, it's a powerful. It's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I was shown extremes, and you like you said, you take them in. What's in it for me, and you move forward with it. There's just it's like a cosmic super spaghetti bowl highway over there. So You know, it's a great place for transformation. Now, how many people can you bring in
10
to your
people
house? I mean,
is the maximum.
you've got 10. Okay, so it's a very personal retreat.
Yeah.
You don't have 50 people to one instructor, one.
No, everyone who wants personal attention gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is and did you do them last year? You cut out when I asked you that question. Did you have one last year?
Yeah, we did one last spring.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so this is the second go round with it, huh?
This will be number 5.
Oh, number 5.
Yeah.
And so you've got these codes of creation that you're putting together, that you're downloading. And can you give us a little general on what some of those components are of the first 18? Like, I mean, does it involve? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got my paper right here, Todd.
Perfect.
The one I remember is the one I remember first is sexual energy, because that's using your potent life force to fuel your creations. We have gratitude, of course, and that's all about being grateful for what you have now and what you are creating. We have worthiness, which is huge and often subconscious or even unconscious. People don't even realize they have issues around worthiness until they try to create something and it doesn't work, and they can't understand why. It could be because you don't actually see yourself as worthy to have it or create it.
Yeah.
The other reasons too, but that's a big one.
So you got, and it's funny because I was going to first ask you, I didn't know what these heading themes for each code would be, but the first thing I was going to ask you was about sexual energy. Okay. I think this is becoming more prevalent. I think we all anchor in certain things for the earth and for the collective, as we're all, a piece of the puzzle. I think Morgan and I are anchoring in something similar along the lines of what you're receiving and putting out there.
Nice.
Part of that is sacred sexual energy.
Thank you.
Which is absolutely, I'm not going to cuss, freaking fantastic. And it's nothing like we thought. It's not even physical sex in many cases. It's the energy itself being controlled, harnessed. I say controlled, probably not the right word, but being managed, harnessed, working in unison with it. And then when you have somebody else with you, it becomes like just ginormous, right? In fact, she was shown that I think yesterday, and we have so many in and out sessions and dimensional experiences I can't remember, but specifically told when two come together and shown and enter this harnessing of the sexual energy, it's just explosive. So you're coming right out of the box talking about this. That's excellent. And then the other the two that I thought were really interesting. Of course, gratitude is the highest form of praise to me for the universe, and that's a really, I think that's one we forget a lot. But the one that really jumped out to me was the worthiness, because it seemed like there was a lot of that going on in January. It seemed like there was a lot of people receiving that collectively. I don't know if it was an energy that came down, but it was like, hey, we are worthy, I mean, it was like this whole thing just kind of swept through us. So that's interesting that you're getting that. What are some of the other ones?
Okay, so we have opening your heart, because that's a gateway to your soul, and we receive a lot of information from our heart. And particularly, I'm interested in creating things that are of our soul alignments. Some ego creations are fun too, but for the most part, I'm 100% invested in my soul mission. So I'm interested in how can I get more and more information from my soul about what is my mission, how to carry it out, things like that. So when you open your heart, you open that gateway to your soul for the information from your soul to flow through you in a more understandable, more palpable way.
Yeah. Soul alignments. Now, people, I've seen people ask, even yesterday, I'm with you guys. I'm frustrated. I don't know what my soul mission is. Can you address that, or do you have to address that with people in the work that you do? Or they
Yeah,
kind of say, I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, that's something that comes up in channeling sessions. People ask, what is my soul mission? And it's really interesting because sometimes Prime Creator will give a whole spiel. Like there'll be a whole, packed with information, this is your soul mission. And then other times there'll be like, we're going to give you part of it because if you were to know the fullness of it all now, you'd be overwhelmed and want to shut down and not do anything.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. People want to know their soul mission, but they're not necessarily ready to know the fullness of everything. The most important thing is to be willing to take that first step. And look, I get it. I've been there. I wanted to have the outline. I wanted to know, okay, after the first step, what's the next one? And what's the next one? And what's the next one? But it doesn't work that way. We just have to keep showing up. That's the most important thing. And so if you're one of those people who's with us now who doesn't know your soul mission and you can't figure it out and you really want to know, don't get attached to the whole down the line, big picture thing. Just show up for what you know right now. And then you'll be given the information about what to do next. And then the information about what to do after that.
That's very true. It's like a spoon being spoon. I know that very well. I love what you said about don't get attached. I think that's a big part too.
Yeah.
Does that play into the codes, not becoming attached, or expectations or detachment? Is that part of it?
Yes, that is one of them. I don't remember how I worded it, but that is one of them, not getting attached. A healthy detachment.
Yeah, I think that's that's a big one. What else you got? You got worthiness, gratitude, some type of healthy detachment, sexual energy, huge.
Yeah,
that's huge.
So another one is courage.
Yeah,
a lot of people have these visions or dreams. A lot of people know in their heart what they want, but they're not courageous enough to actually stand up for it, to speak it, to take the action to make it happen. They're not actually willing to put themselves out there. Like in order for me to create what I want, I have to put myself out there in a huge way. And it's not always easy because of all the energy I have to deal with in all the other realms. So courage is a big one. And you don't have to be creating something big. It just has to be, just by the fact that you're creating something means it's something that you don't perceive to be in your life right now. And that takes courage to move from this place to that place.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes courage to, if it doesn't make sense, do it.
That too.
Yeah.
If you feel a very clear, strong calling in one direction and you might not understand it, it takes courage for us to do it, to move into that direction.
Yeah, there's a lot of people experiencing that, and I'm seeing more and more people actually stepping up. And on that note, Jania Gazda says, what do you mean by showing up?
Thank you for asking that question. That's good. Okay. When I say showing up, I mean, if you're asked to do something, to do it in trust. I mean, when you're triggered, to look at yourself and what it was about and how you can transform it. When I say showing up, I'm talking about if someone asks you to do something for them and it feels right, it feels in alignment, to show up and do it. It's the opposite of hiding. It's the opposite of being small, playing small. It's putting yourself out there and to show up for what you want, to become a vibrational match to what you want, to do the work, to raise your frequency so that you are magnetized with what you're creating. That's what I mean by showing up. I'm sure there are more subtleties and nuances to that I'm not finding words for at the moment. But it's really about putting yourself out there and not letting fear or doubt or any of those things prevent you from doing something that you feel called to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and I've heard a lot of people say that, use that term, showing up, use that phrase, and had a lot of people, you know, or a number of people in my life in the Soulogy, you know, energy, step up and just say, I'm just showing up. I'm here to help. I'm just showing up. I don't know what to do, and I think that's kind of what you're talking about. To me, showing up is like, well, like you said, you got to have that desire. You know, you got to want to. And I think what's changing a little bit is we are starting to honor those things that come in and not be distracted or delayed or even to ignore, you know, by, you know, submersing in the 3D. We're starting
I
actually.
have a perfect example of something that recently happened. Could I share that, Todd?
Absolutely.
So recently, I was contacted by someone who's been involved in What the Bleep Do You Know and Song for the New Earth with Tom Kenyon. And she reached out to me and said, you know, I've been watching your Facebook posts and I really like what you've been posting. And I think you'd be a really great match for this new book that we're creating. I'd like you to write a chapter. And my soul was like, yes, because the topic was so in alignment for me. It's something that I'm very passionate about. And I was like, yes, that's what I want to do, right? But I had just made a commitment to publish my children's book. And I had made a commitment to all these other things coming up this spring. And I was feeling a little overwhelmed by it all. And I was like, let me just, you know, kind of sit with this for a few days, a few weeks, maybe, as it turned out to be. And when I tuned in again and I said, okay, I want the real answer. Is this in alignment for me? And I've never heard my soul speak so loudly to me. It was this, yes, just do it. And I was like, but what about this? And what about that? And I didn't get any clients out of it. And I've done that before. And it didn't, you know, there was no ROI and blah, blah, blah. And my soul was like, just do it. And so I did. I put the deposit down, writing the chapter. By the way, I think that's coming out in May. Look for a book called All You Need Is Love. It's a book about spiritual bypassing and things we need to be aware of about that. So I couldn't say no. I couldn't not do it because the voice of my soul was so strong. And so I'm just trusting. I'm trusting that I'll have the time, the energy, you know, whatever, to make that happen. I'm showing up.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you know what? And you know what? Really, we all showed up. Yeah. You know, so many people, they get. Did you see that?
Awesome.
She just hit me in the head. What was that for? But you know, we all showed up. You know, I hear too, people are like, oh, somebody wrote me yesterday, a really, really dear old friend and supporter from the early days. And she's like, I need help. I know you're further ahead than me. And I said, hey, I wrote back. I was like, hey, I'm here at your service. You know, you supported me. I'll support you. What do you want to do? And then I woke up this morning and she's like, oh, I got it. I'm good. And I told her in the first message, I said, I'm not ahead of you, you know? And so going back to what you said, and I love that term, showing up, we all showed up. We all put our hands up to come here. And as time goes on, there's more and more proof coming in from these channelings and transmissions, downloads, and just common soul sense that, you know, the human's a hero. We're the darlings of the universe. We're center stage right now. We're kicking ass and taking names. And so we all showed up. But, you know, that's That's
And
a beautiful thing.
I think the most important piece of that is showing up consistently.
Yeah.
It's one thing to show up when you feel great, when you feel energized, when you're healthy, when when you feel like your cup is overflowing. It's so fun to show up when that happens. It's another thing to show up when you're tired, if you're sick, if the money's not there, if the family is going crazy, if, blah, 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 blah. So showing up regardless of your external circumstances, showing up for your mission, showing up for serving the light, however, whatever words you want to put to that, showing up to do the things that are most important on this planet right now, that are going to have an impact for the planet. That's so important to do that consistently, when it feels good and when it doesn't feel good.
And showing up for yourself too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's really what you were saying in the beginning of it. You were saying showing up is going in every day. If something happens to you, something's presented to you, you don't into your inner sanctum and you look for the gold.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, Todd, because that's actually the most important way to show up. We have to show up for ourselves first, to do the inner work, to give ourselves love, to rest when we need it. Resting, by the way, is not a form of not showing up. If your body needs rest, show up for that.
Yeah.
So showing up for yourself first is most important, because how can we give from an empty cup?
Yeah, very much so. Now let's talk about, because I don't want to run out of time, and I want to make sure that I think this is really important. I have been to Sedona. I think everybody should go to Sedona at some point in their life, if you can. I can promise you that it will greet you and meet you. It might beat you, but it won't eat you. There's a burgeoning community there of authentic light workers like Susie, and I think that this is a year of collaboration, and we support each other. So let's hear a little bit more about your retreat. What do you do in the 2.5 days? What can somebody expect that be interested? And of course, how can they find out? If you'll put your links and information in the comments, that would be great.
Yeah, go to creationtemple.com/retreat. creationtemple.com/retreat. When you come to one of our retreats, it is a co-creation, meaning you as the participant bring your intentions of what you'd like to release, receive, create, transform. So you as a participant are responsible for what happens, because you're coming with whatever it is you want to create and transform. What we provide is a safe, sacred space for you to go deep within yourself so that you can have that release, that transformation, so that you can rebirth yourself. In some ways, I feel like I'm a doula, because I help people rebirth themselves into their next version of themselves. We're constantly rebirthing, right? When we're on this spiritual path, we're constantly recreating ourselves. And what happens at the retreats and in my other work is that you're rebirthing yourself into the next version of you. So if you have any place where you're feeling stuck in your life, if you have any confusion, if you have doubts, if you just want to take it to the next level, that's what the retreats are for, because it's a very potent energy. The energy lasts from the moment we open the portal to the moment we close it. And there's a very potent energy that's present during the retreat that helps you go within. And the other beautiful thing that happens is the people that you attend with, you become fast friends. because you're all in that beautiful space of vulnerability, of being raw together. And so you develop a kinship. They're your soul family. And a lot of people stay in touch after the retreats and maintain that kinship, that friendship, because you've gone through something deep together. So it's not a day at the spa. It's a time, it's a time to buckle down and do some work. Yeah. And also you get rejuvenated at the same time. So in the beginning of this conversation where we were talking about releasing and rebuilding and how that's kind of a separate process, during the retreat, that all gets mushed together. We transcend the polarity during the retreat. You have that very intense releasing while at the same time you're getting rejuvenated by the energies of Sedona. So it's really powerful.
In a supportive environment, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I think we've all had some experiences in our lives where we've done some, and maybe even in the old religion paradigm, where you have people going to transform or going to elevate, and to be able to share certain things as you're releasing and emptying the cup. It's nice to have people around, especially if they're all doing the same thing and everybody's showing their ass, basically, past the point of embarrassment. You know, that's a powerful thing. Here's a comment from Julia Yesner Weiss. She says, I went to Susie's retreat and it changed my life. I am so in my life's journey now. I made best friends for life there. And yes, we all still keep in touch since the retreat. So there's a nice blurb if you need one. If you want to make some flyers up, no, that's great. That's great.
You can ask Julia what the retreats are all about. She's been through it. She knows.
Yeah. Well, I know you. And I think anyone that's watched you or been around you knows that you're very, very straight up and serious. You have a big smile and you play the didge and you do some different things. You're all about showing up and getting the work done and serving. So there's no question about that. And I can say, having gone to Sedona, it's not an expensive place to go. I mean, you fly into Phoenix, you take a shuttle, and boom, you're there. And it's beautiful.
We have lots of Airbnbs now. You can find a very affordable place to stay. I have 3 different price points on the retreat, so you can, choose from any of those, pay what you can with the 3 choices there. And I want to say also that the retreats are fun as well. We laugh, we play. It's work, but there's a balance. So don't be afraid thinking, you're going to be like in this bubble the whole time and you can't, play and have fun. You have the evenings off where you can go out by yourself or go out with other retreat participants. We have fun and we laugh together too.
Or you can go into the canyon and search for some action with interdimensional beings because they're there.
They're here for sure.
It is a very powerful place, and it is a place I think too. People tell these stories. They even say it about Kauai. Oh, some people can't make it here. I don't know about all that. I think we're all portals, and everywhere you go is a portal. But there's some special places, and Sedona is definitely one of them. And if you want to grow, if you have the desire to grow, I can promise you that Sedona and its super cosmic spaghetti bowl highway over there will assist you very willingly.
Yeah, it's true. When you come here with the intention to grow and transform, Sedona is all about that. She's like, I'll help you with that. Yeah. And for people who don't want to do their transformation in a group, I also offer personal retreats. I'll put the link below because it's kind of long, but it's Susie Beiler / Sedona-rebirthing-retreats.
So you do individual ones too? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Very cool. And big props on. So let's make sure that we take a visit at least to Susie's website and to the link she's going to put up. This is, we're all here to support each other. We're not living in the old 3D paradigm where do this and you get that. We just put our best energy forward and support and collaborate and co-create. And I think that's a big part, a big aspect of the energy that's not coming because it's already here. So let's give a visit to Susie. Let's support what she's doing. Anybody's interested in some expansion, I would highly recommend Sedona and Susie, the SNS team, because because yeah.
I want to give credit also to Todd. If any of you guys decide to attend the retreat, if you feel like this is for you, when you see the page, when you register, make sure you put Todd's name, Todd Medina, in the referral box so that I can give credit to Todd also.
Thank you for that. That's very nice of you.
Help each other.
Absolutely. That's very nice. I look forward to collaborating again. Maybe we touch base again in 30 days as you lead into the retreat and anything else you might be getting into. I know there is an event. Well, I think Shakina's got one in a couple of weeks there. Then there's another one in March she's involved with. Some of y'all are involved with. There's another friend of mine, Morgana Ecclesiastin. I know I can't say her name right. Everyone knows her. She's going to be in Tucson in April, I believe, March or April. So there's a lot of stuff going on down there.
Yeah.
And of course, you're mid-April with this retreat, April 14th. Yeah. Is that right?
April 11th through the 14th for my retreat, and then we have the Sedona Yoga Festival in March that I'm a part of. I'll be offering Didgeridoo sound healing there. We have Beyond the Matrix with Suzanne Ross, who's organizing that event, and that's over the equinox, and I'll be there. Yeah.
You're there. You're going to be on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll put all the links and information after we get off the live, so that people can find information about that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And we are going to have Suzanne on. I think on the next show at whatever time that is.
Today.
In about an hour and a half, I think.
Awesome. Perfect.
Or an hour, something like that. Yeah. So there's something powerful about Sedona. There's a little nucleus of people. It's a great place to go. You want to get some personal transformation going. I highly recommend Susie. And you can also check with a lot of the people in the community. I didn't know her until a few months ago, but a lot of people do know her, and they speak very highly of her. And it's not hard to understand that she's very dedicated to what she does. So we'll touch base again. Thank you for coming on. Be sure and put your links up. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the first show of the day. We got 3 more. Susie, thank you so much.
Bless you. Thank you for all you do, Todd.
You're welcome. All blessings to you and yours and everybody else out there.